And for those who are planning assassination attempts and assassination coups, it will not work. It will not work. Africa must protect Ibrahim Traore.
I need all my copper-colored people to take this very seriously, because the last time something like this happened, it happened to Gaddafi. But now what France and the U.S. are trying to do to the president of Africa, all because he's making sure he take care of the people and his citizens, he's giving them free health care. He's giving them free Medicaid. He now opened up two tomato processing plants out there. And now they get mad and they want to arrest him because he don't want to abide by their rules. Well, guess what? Africa is not America, and they don't owe you anything. Y'all just want them resources over there from Africa. We not stupid, man. But one thing about it, when you a great African leader and you got to deal with these colonizers that are devils and demons, it's very important that we all come together and protect this man worldwide. Because one thing about it, man, if we let them get away with this, how they got away with Gaddafi, they're going to keep on doing it until we stand up and we really unify and realize that we got the power. If you got melon running through your veins, you are 10 times greater than every last one of them cowards, and they know that. That's why they trying to get rid of that great man, because he's actually for the people. Real talk. I need all them African nations and countries to come together and actually stand up and protect this man. Real talk, citizens and all, because it's not cool to sit here and let these American bullies think they can do anything to anybody anytime they want. And they go for France too. We know how dirty y'all history is, or at least I do. I don't respect none of y'all. Real talk, man. If anything happened to this man, I guarantee y'all gonna set up an uproar in this world that y'all ain't never seen before.
The USA want to eliminate Ibrahim Traore. The Westerners or the West countries want to arrest Ibrahim Traore, and they are claiming Ibrahim Traore is misusing the resources of Burkina Faso. Now, we always say they will always use our own to dismantle our own peace, to dismantle our own economy, to dismantle our own countries, and they are using Micheal Langley. Micheal Langley is a general and a distinguished officer in the United States Marine Corps, currently serving as a commander of U.S. Africa Command, AFRICOM, since August 2022. This is Micheal Langley, and he is being used to do the dirty work for the whites. He's being used to do the dirty work for the whites. Now, as AFCON commander, Langley has actively engaged with African nations to strengthen partnership and address regional security challenges. And he even visited Kenya in 2024. And right now, he's talking about issues with Burkina Faso. Before we continue, let's watch this clip first, then we come back and talk about it.
The other two competitors are just trying to replicate what we do best.
I can imagine a situation, though, in which the ruling elite of a country is receiving gratuities on the side that inure to the benefit of the strongman leader and not to the populace of the country. Does that sort of corruption and bribery go on with regard to the Belt and Road?
Absolutely, Chairman. I see this, and I don't mind calling them out, but Captain Traore and Burkina Faso, as they know that both, whether it's their gold reserves, that is all those proceeds are just in exchange to protect the junta regime. There's a number of examples across. Even in Sudan, what's going on with the rapid support forces and Burhan of the Sudan forces, when you get down to it, is all about the revenue that can be drawn out of that. And there are nefarious actors in the CCP or in sometimes Russia are complicit in those activities.
Recently, there is a so-called NGO. It's not even an NGO, because NGO stands for non-governmental organization. They are not non-governmental because they are funded by a federal budget, by a state. This so-called NGO produces reports claiming that the FDS and the VDP commit abuses. It went in here, it came out there. It's to tarnish your morale. It's to scare you. to prevent you from being able to fight. No. Moreover, we are going to file a complaint against this NGO because people need to understand something. What is happening to us here? It's true that they have manipulated part of our populations in the Sahel here, but they didn't have that kind of weaponry. What brought such significant weaponry into their ranks? It's Libya. Who destroyed Libya? It's this NGO, the same NGO that made false reports and gave them to those who wanted to create a rebellion so that people would intervene and overthrow Gaddafi. And the powder keg ended up being poured into the Sahel. These millions of lives that have been taken in the Sahel, we must file a complaint against this NGO because it is responsible for these false reports it made to support this thesis of attacking Libya. They have no moral lessons to give us. Look at the world. Let them go defend human rights all over the world first before coming here. We are fortunate to have similar situations. In this world, you voluntarily committed yourselves. There are countries where people are forcibly taken, killed. You leave or you die. Others, even while trying to flee, end up dying. They don't talk about human rights because these people see us as subhumans. They see us as slaves. That's how it is in their minds. They have never changed their mindset, but it's up to us to show them that we are not slaves and we will never accept this state of affairs.
Very, very brief. It's about IBRAHIM TRAORE, the Burkina Faso president. I have to say I was very, very disappointed. Very, very disappointed to hear that Burkina Faso citizens abroad were protesting against his government. How can you protest against someone who is effectively changing geopolitics in Africa? How can you effectively say that you are protesting against IBRAHIM TRAORE? What has urged me to respond on this platform is because someone wrote to me through my people asking me to address the IBRAHIM TRAORE situation. It is clear to me that there is an issue with his leadership. And when I say an issue, not necessarily an issue, but people are worried and concerned about how he is conducting and making sure that he effectively caters for Burkina Faso citizens. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't seem to understand why Burkina Faso citizens abroad were protesting if it wasn't because you have been paid to protest. He, in my view, from what we can gather, has had 18 assassination attempts. That is a world record. 18 assassination attempts. And I'm talking about fake assassinations. 18 assassination attempts. That is worrying. I'm calling on all African leaders to do what we can to protect IBRAHIM TRAORE. I know that not all African leaders support the way he has taken over power. But it is clear to me, and it is clear to those who want to get rid of him, and those protesting, and those who support him, that he is very, very effective as a leader. And I am supporting IBRAHIM TRAORE all the way. All the way. I would not repeat this. IBRAHIM TRAORE has all my support. And to all Burkina Faso citizens, both abroad and in your country, make sure you fall behind your leader. What we are experiencing in Africa is great. He's changing geopolitics for the better. And for those who are planning assassination attempts and assassination coups, it will not work. It will not work. Africa must protect IBRAHIM TRAORE.
Malcolm X was stating the facts when he said they will hire one of us to kill one of us just to say one of us did it. Don't let that go over your head.
Do you know how much dignity it takes to say no to the IMF when they come at you and say, we'll give you billions and billions of dollars, and you say, no, thank you very much, I don't want it, I care more about my people.
Yeah.
Most puppets in position, especially in these African countries, are out here for the money. Now here comes this supposed chosen one, the Messiah of Africa, the hope of Africa, Ibrahim Traore, saying no to money. All these puppets are saying to themselves, what the hell is this? This is, to some extent, some of these puppets think that Ibrahim Traore is being disrespectful by rejecting these loans.
Yeah. I saw something like that. Stubborn. I believe I saw that word. Stubborn for rejecting the IMF loan.
And there's some puppets around here that will say, you don't care about your people that much. Because if you did, you'd take that money, you'd take that opportunity, those means, and try to go and build some things in your country.
These citizens are applauding him even more and supporting him even more for saying no to that.
You see this man here? He needs super armed security. In fact, the entire world needs to do a chained prayer for this man. Just within 2 years, do you know what Ibrahim Traore has actually done? First of all, he just made education free for everybody in Burkina Faso, which is crazy. He also launched an emergency ambulance service, and I've never heard of this in any African country. The service aims to provide 24-hour emergency healthcare to all citizens regardless of financial status. And under his leadership, like I said, this is just within 2 years. Burkina Faso's GDP, which is the gross domestic product, which is used to measure how well a country is doing economically, grew from approximately 18.8 billion to 22.1 billion. He also reduced the salaries of ministers and parliamentarians by 30% and increased the salaries of civil servants by 50%. He paid off Burkina Faso's local debts. He established 2 tomato processing plants. He put a stop to the export of unrefined gold from Burkina Faso to Europe. And to my understanding, he's actually trying to build a gold refinery in Burkina Faso. He banned French military operations in Burkina Faso, he banned French media in Burkina Faso, and he expelled French troops from Burkina Faso. Now, why the French are angry about this is because usually Francophone countries depend on France to some capacity. And if other countries, Francophone countries within Africa, start getting self-sufficiency, then we'll need France, leaving France's role redundant. And ultimately, France will become a third world country. Without Africa, France is a third world country. Remember that.
Yo, why do they keep trying to kill this man? After now 20 failed assassination attempts on the president of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore, I now know why they're calling him the most important black man on the planet. He answers the question, what would happen if Africa just thugged out, took its own resources by force, and distributed them equitably among their population without corruption? Well, he did that. And now they're mad about it. And now after just 2 years in charge, he's got a list of accomplishments that put other African leaders to shame. Dude literally stopped the export of Burkina Faso's gold to Europe. Increased productivity, taking Burkina Faso's GDP from 18.8 billion to 22.1 billion. Then the dude banned French military exercises in Burkina Faso. Then he kicked out French media and French troops. Bro built new railroads, new highways. He invested in all like hundreds and hundreds of tractors for their farming capacity. He got brand new high quality seeds for the farmers to produce so that they can feed themselves. And he banned them weird ass British powdered wigs they be wearing in the parliament and court. He was like, no more of that. We African and that just looks strange on y'all. And now he's spearheading the alliance of the Sahel states between Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, because these are all formerly French colonized places. They speak French, and they just decided we gonna defend and protect ourselves, create a block, and trade with each other. Holla bad. Listen, this is leadership. So yeah, France acting like a jealous ex. Now that they see the one they abused doing good, they want to intervene with force. And here's how it plays into the greater picture. Because, in case you haven't noticed, the world profits from dirt, cheap African minerals. But the Burkina Faso and the Sahel states show that, number one, we can kick out colonizers, and number two, we gonna make y'all pay fair market prices for the resources within our dirt. That means that this might start a domino effect in Africa. Some are calling it the Ibrahim effect, and it's already taken place because young folks all over the continent is calling out for more leadership like Ibrahim Traore. Low-key, us black Americans could use some more leadership like that too. African leadership and black American leadership suffered the same problem. The OG original leaders who really was about the people got killed off. Our Dr. King and Malcolm X got killed off. Their Patrice Lumumba and Thomas Sankara got killed off. And then a bunch of sellouts
and greedy ass mooches and leeches have taken over and abusing people's finances and faith. And there needed to be somebody to stand on business actually for the people with brute force against the colonizer and benevolence with their own people. And that is the example that our brother is setting in Burkina Faso. This means that we could be turning over a new leaf as a people if we follow this man's example, because it's like, what is white supremacy really but an evolutionary force for those who have been subject to it to overcome? And so when you're talking about evolutionary forces, you have to ask yourself, what is this force trying to make me? And the faster you get to that end product, the faster that pressure dissolves. So like, why did Africa fall? It fell partially because of its openness, because we had a kind of like Dr. Kingian way of looking at the world, and that everybody's our brother and we want to be benevolent with folks. Well, that works with folks who have that consciousness. But if they don't have that consciousness, you have to adapt behavior necessary to meet the challenge to preserve your own life. That's what the Malcolm X's of the world were trying to teach us. But they got assassinated before they could adapt the philosophy into hard power. Some places of the continent, they did get really forceful military leaders, right? But then they went too far into the other direction and started exploiting and dominating their own people out of greed. Nah, the pendulum got to balance. You got to ride the center. You got to be Martin Luther King with your brother and Malcolm X to the other. So this brother, IBRAHIM TRAORE, steps up and he was like, let me learn the lessons from history in order to make me effective. I got to be benevolent with my people, but I got to be effectively militaristic enough to protect the beautiful thing that I'm building. And the sooner we get there, following this cat's example, humble yourself, be man enough to say I can learn from him, then the sooner that we get to where we need to be outside of this whole white supremacy dynamic. Because I don't know about you, but I'm done with that.
Welcome back. Now, during the Senate Armed Service Committee hearing on April 3, 2025, General Langley alleged that Burkina Faso President Ibrahim Traore was diverting the country's gold reserve to sustain the ruling military regime rather than benefiting the Burkinabe population. He stated, Captain Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso, their gold reserve are just in exchange to protect the junta regime. First of all, this gold is for Burkina Faso. It's not for United States. These gold reserves are for Burkina Faso. Why are you talking about them? Who are you? Who sent you from USA all the way to come and talk about the gold reserve of Burkina Faso? Why are you talking about it? What concern do you have as United States with the gold of Burkina Faso? Is it because they have restricted you from getting your hands on that gold? Is it because they have revoked your visas coming to United States? Is it because Burkina Faso is not giving you the gold reserves? That's why you have decided to talk about that? If he's using this gold to protect the military regime, and he's doing good job for Burkinabes, who are you to come and complain? Let Burkina Faso people complain about this, not a military from US. Let African countries complain about this. Let Ghana, South Africa talk about, why are you talking about this? Okay? And Langley comment have been met with strong backlash from various African quarters. The Burkina Faso government condemned the remarks as regrettable and gravely inaccurate, asserting that such statement distort the country's reality and undermine its leadership. Additionally, South Africa economic freedom fighter EFF party leader claims describing them as imperialist tactics aimed to destabilize a sovereign African state, asserting control over the natural resources. The EFF emphasized the importance of African nations resisting neo-colonial efforts to dictate internal policies. Now, this is what we talk about. This gold reserve of Burkina Faso, I think US have concerned about it so much because they have been restricted from getting access on it. They have been restricted from exploiting Burkina Faso. It's paining them. And they are seeing Russia and China getting it easy from Burkina Faso. And they are like, okay, we were the one who was supposed to get these things easy. Why is Russia? Why is China? Why is not us? So US is trying to do anything they can do so that they can arrest Ibrahim Traore or they can eliminate Ibrahim Traore, because Traore has become the pain in the ass. Ibrahim Traore has become the pain in that hole. Why are you concerned about that? Africa is rich. Rich in critical minerals like gold, we say, lithium, uranium. And the US want to ensure to have access to this material, especially as demand rises in the green tech and the military sectors. But now they can't get access to this. They want to do what they did to Thomas Sankara. They want to do what they did to Muammar Gaddafi. They want to do what they did to all these African leaders who are fighting for the goodness of the country. The US is increasingly concerned about China and Russia growing influence in Africa. It's paining them. They are not friends to China. They ain't friends to Russia. So when Burkina Faso is aligning themselves, or when a country from Africa is aligning themselves to France or to Russia and China, they get trembled because they know what China can offer. They know what Russia can offer. And they know that African countries play vital they play a lot in building of the world. So they want to be the one who can access these resources and these minerals and to control and to have the influence in African countries. But African countries, Ibrahim Traore and a lot of leaders, they have opened their eyes and they have seen that the Westerners does not mean well to African countries. Why don't we try Russia? Why don't we try China? China does not have a history of killing Africans. China and Russia does not have history of enslaving Africans. China does not have history of enslaving black Americans. Why don't we try them? So the US is trembling. They want to attack Ibrahim Traore. They are putting false information there. The Western media, the Western powers, they are trying all they can. Ibrahim Traore paid off their loans, sent out their military. It have started hitting them hard. Now, instead of them coming down and decide to have good talks with this country, they want to eliminate the leader of that country because they cannot access to these minerals. They cannot have the influence they had back to these countries. Now, when we talk about the US influence in these countries, or US involvement in African resources, has negative cause only. They have negative consequences only to African countries. Nothing good come out of it. The only good thing that will come out of that relationship is being submerged in debts and debts. When we talk about negative consequences, we talk about neocolonialism and economic dependence. We will only depend on them. And that's what we don't want. And that's why Ibrahim Traore has seen the US open support extractive industries that export raw materials to the West countries without helping African build value-added industries. They just extract and they don't help us build the industries. And this locks African economies into a dependent state, exporting raw material but importing finished good at higher prices. And that's why we say they are exploiting Africa. China will do legit business. They give you the service you need. They'll build roads. They'll build industries. Name it. That's the difference between China and the United States. United States just want to extract, just want to exploit. They want to get all the profits. They always support accountable regimes. The regime that only play or sing their music. The choir members of their club, they only elect those to ensure access or easy access to the resources. So when they get someone who is tough like Ibrahim Traore, they start causing chaos. And the regimes they always support, always oppress, violate human rights. So they are claiming Ibrahim Traore is violating, but they have been supporting republics, or they have been supporting governments or leaders who are exploiting, who are oppressing, who are exploiting human rights. If we talk about exploiting human rights, the US stands there. The Western countries stand number one. If we talk about the countries, or if we talk about the leadership that have been mismanaging wealth, hunting the population while benefiting themselves, we talk about the United States. We do not talk about Ibrahim Traore. They are just envy that Ibrahim Traore is not giving to them. If Ibrahim Traore was bowing to them, they could not come out with this. And they are using our own black person. And this black person is claiming he is not black American, that he is black Indian. Okay, even if you're black Indian, black people have been seen inferior all the way. Black Indians, black Americans, black Latinos, black who, we have been seen as inferior in the face of the oppressor. Why are you supporting the oppressor? Because they are using you, the person who is looking like us, to come and destroy us. And that's what they did to Thomas Sankara. They used the person close to him to destroy Burkina Faso, to destroy Thomas Sankara. They used someone close to Muammar Gaddafi to destroy Muammar Gaddafi. They used someone close to you to destroy you, because they don't want to be seen there, white face to be seen there destroying. They are using long con ways. They are using ways they did to enslave Africans to African Americans. They are using ways they did to colonize Africa. They are still using it today. Africans, we need to wake up. Youths, we need to wake up. We need to know what's better for us and fight for what is better for us. What is better for us right now is Ibrahim Traore. You feel me? People have gone on reacting. Black Americans have reacted. Africans have reacted. Tell me what you think on the comment section about this clip. Okay? But I am at so much pain seeing that the Westerns, they want to destroy our African continent. They want to destroy our African countries. And some leaders from Africa are supporting them. Kenya are supporting them. This guy came to Kenya in 2022 or 2024, if I'm not wrong, because they have this alliance with Kenya. I am very sure if Kenya could have been neighbor to Burkina Faso, they could have been using William Ruto to do the dirty work. By USA or Western countries engaging themselves in Africa, they are creating resource wars and instabilities in these countries. The US geopolitical competition, especially with China or Russia, can fuel internal conflicts, like what we see in Congo. They can fuel internal instabilities, especially where valuable resources are involved, e.g. oil in Nigeria, gold in the Sahel region. So for them not accessing this gold is making them go gaga. They want it. They want the gold. But instead of them coming in peace, instead of them coming and sitting at the table and talk with Ibrahim Traore, see what they are trying to do. Competition for control creates violence, displacement, and long-term instability, often militarized under the guise of counterterrorism. The US want to create another war in Burkina Faso. Ibrahim Traore is trying every day to put the country in stable because security is the issue in Burkina Faso. And this security is brought by these Western countries. They want to destabilize Africa. They want to destabilize Burkina Faso, sending false information to the public to create tension in the country. But we are watching, and the Burkina Faso knows what is right for them. They knows if they want Ibrahim Traore as their president. They knows if Ibrahim Traore is working for them. Who are you to come and claim that Traore is not working? Where have you get that information? From which country? Burkina Faso is not part of USA. Burkina Faso is not a state in the United States of America. Where did you gather this information? That means there is some traitors in the country. Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore, you need to be so much vigilant. There is some traitors in uniform who is selling the information or selling the messages of Burkina Faso, and they can sell the wrong information to the people. They can sell the wrong information to the world. They want to ruin the name of Ibrahim Traore. They want to damage the positive name of Ibrahim Traore. US-backed corporations have been involved in mining and drilling operation with little regard to environmental regulation. And that's why they want to continue to do? God damn it. We ain't going back to this. We ain't. The West, wake up. See what your counterparts are doing. They are winning the name for themselves. China is winning the name for themselves. Russia is winning for them a name for themselves because they do legit business. They don't cause wars. They don't cause chaos. They do legit business. So, I think Africans who are watching, this is undermining the sovereignty of African countries. It's undermining the sovereignty that Burkina Faso is trying to gain. And that's one thing that we need to make sure we do away with it. As African countries, I think the leaders are seeing you cannot get away from the West unless we all unite as African countries. Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa. We unite. Let us unite so that we can create a strong oppositions. We need all black people to support us. We need black Americans, all black people to support Ibrahim Traore, to support this country so that we can do away with this imperialism. Until next episode, peace out.